Oh god, it flexes like slobber.
Welcome to the feast, I unleash, I'm a motherfucking beast.
Alright, what is up YouTube? So today is going to be the third episode of Rehab-Prehab series. So that's going to be put at the end of the video, but I wanted to start off the video with just a little segment on how I get ready for a successful week. So what I do over the weekend on Sunday to prepare for a successful week and how I plan things ahead. A couple of weeks ago, I actually had a video, and I will link it right here, I believe, that explained how to plan out your week, how to plan out your month, how to plan everything to be successful for time management and stuff like that. And this is just a sample of some of the little things I do on a day-to-day basis to keep myself on track the night before or the weekend before a busy week starts. Now on to the rehab-prehab portion of this video. So this is episode 3 of my rehab-prehab series, and today's topic is going to be hip impingements. So what a hip impingement is and why I feel I should be doing a video on it. Last year around this time I did suffer from a mild hip impingement. It was nothing serious. I caught it really early on, but basically it's when you are having pain when you're going into hip flexion. So hip flexion looks like this. When your torso is at a 90-degree angle with your leg here, this is hip flexion, and then this is where you are feeling the pain for a hip impingement. So when you go down into something like a barbell squat and your knees are coming up like this, please again excuse my Sunday attire. So when your knees are coming up like this, it's gonna hurt here. It's gonna feel like something is pushing or pinching in that area. It's going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to feel like tight around that area, and a lot of people, and what I did is I confused it with having tight hip flexors, and those two can go hand in hand because they both kind of originate from having a sedentary day job, being a student and sitting all the time. But basically what a hip impingement is think about my arm here being your femur, so this is your knee, and this is the ball and socket joint of your hip. So this would be your pelvis, this hand right here. So when your leg moves around, it's moving around like this in the ball and socket joint, and it's supposed to stay in this position, but in a hip impingement, basically this ball and socket, the femur is sliding up and out of it or sliding down, and it's out of place in that joint. And so the hip impingement pain is coming from it rubbing bone on bone instead of cushion in the joint. And so that's why you're feeling the pain in hip flexion, and to varying degrees this can get extremely painful. This can limit you from sitting, this can limit you from going up the stairs. It's good to catch these things early on. And so basically where this originates from again is from sitting a lot and overuse. So a lot of squat dominant exercise, a lot of hip flexion exercises, and not taking the time to stretch and rehab and do everything like that properly can cause this movement of the bone to happen. So in this video that I'm showing you right here, I'm just doing a Romanian deadlift, and you can see where the arrow is pointing. That's where you're going to be feeling the pain when you push your hips back into that hip flexion position. You're feeling pain in that position. In the next part of this video, I'm just doing barbell squats. Again, I'm just pointing the arrow where you're feeling that pain in the hip area and when you're feeling it. So you're probably going to feel it on the way down at the bottom of the hole and when you're pushing up out of it, not necessarily when you're just standing at the top with the barbell. And so the next thing I'm showing you guys here is one thing you can do to loosen up your hips before any lower body work, any hip flexion work. Even if you're completely healthy, this is perfectly okay to do to just warm up your joints, and it's a good preventative exercise. So these are just called hip swings. A lot of track runners do these. You're just keeping one foot planted on the ground and you're swinging your legs back and forth, moving from the hip joint so that that hip flexor and glute stretches out. The next thing that I'm showing you here is I'm tying a band around a stable object, not something that's gonna slide, because it will slide. What I'm doing is I'm putting the band around my hip joint here. This is a recovery and rehab exercise. If you have pain in your hip, I highly suggest trying this. You just go down into the runner's position and you're pushing your hips forward, stretching that left hip flexor, the knee that's down. You can be in the upward position or you can put your knee down like this. Either is just as effective. And you're letting that band pull against that femur and push the femur back into position in its joint. And then again here, I am just spreading my feet about shoulder width apart, and then my toes are both pointing forward, and I'm just stretching my lower back and my hamstrings and glutes with that band on, again, so that the band is pushing the femur back into position. So this is probably the #1 recovery exercise that I would recommend to someone who is suffering with hip impingement pain, aside from like stretching and foam rolling. This is honestly what I think fixed it for me, was doing this 3 to 4 times a week, just a little bit after every single lower body workout, and just pushing the band into my hips so that that bone goes back into position and you're not feeling that rubbing painful sensation anymore. So again, you're seeing this from the other leg's perspective. The band is up as high as it can go in my hip, and it's just pulling back. I step forward enough so that there's tension on the band the entire time. Here, I'm doing those same stretches. I'm showing you that I have a perpendicular shin to the ground. I'm showing you that my hip flexor on the left is stretching, and then I put my knee down, and this is a really good stretch for preventing hip impingement, for just opening up the hips, and especially if you work some kind of sedentary job, I highly recommend doing something like this for just before and after a lower body workout. You'd be amazed at how tight people's hips can get from just having a sit-down job, and it is so extreme to the fact that I've had clients who work day jobs that just can't get full depth in a squat because they're so used to sitting that their hips are so tight that they can't get in that position. So those are some of the stretches that I recommend you do if you have hip impingement pain, and especially if you are feeling very injured to the point where you can't really perform as well because of this pain. Try that band work. Just ask the personal trainers at your gym if they have those bands. So usually they're called Rogue bands, and just ask to borrow them for a little bit, 3 to 4 times a week, like I said, just for a couple minutes each time. It really fixed it for me. I highly recommend you try it. So yeah, if you guys have that kind of pain when you're squatting or deadlifting or going into hip flexion, try that out. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know if it didn't work for you. Let me know if you have any questions about this injury, and let me know any requests you would like to see for this series down below in the comment section. So if this video was helpful for you, then please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from me. I guess that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video, the next episode of Rehab-Prehab. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you guys later.